Hey everybody, welcome to Malt Muser Whiskey Reviews. I'm Eric. On the bar for today, Chivas Regal 13 years old, Manchester United Special Edition. As always here on the channel, I'll give you a nose taste finish review of this whiskey, tell you a bit about the value, give you my final thoughts, final score, leave you with a malt musing. But first, a bit about Chivas Regal and this Manchester United 13 years old special blend. So Chivas Regal comes out of the Strath Isla distillery, which is the longest continually running distillery in Scotland, 1786. But this is not a single malt. This is a blended whiskey, but Strath Isla single malt whiskey is always in every Chivas Regal. So being a blend, that means you have barley and grain going on in here. But interesting thing about this release, this is actually finished, selectively finished in American rye casks, aged 13 years, 40% ABV. And this is a US only release, and kind of interesting, right? It is 13 years old to celebrate the 13 league titles of Sir Alex Ferguson's Manchester United football/soccer team. So kind of an interesting release to be here in the States. But with that, let's open it up and see what it's all about. This is what the bottle looks like. Typical Chivas bottle, typical kind of Chivas logo. Any more information on here? Yeah, it just says selectively finished in American rye whiskey casks. Ultra smooth and mellow blend, 40% ABV, blended scotch, blah, blah, blah. So that's the rundown. I will add, you don't often find rye matured or rye finished Scotch whiskeys. If you have a favorite, let me know in the chat, as I'm always looking for them. But let's check out this Chivas, y'all. So we got some in the glass here. That is the color, which is almost certainly not authentic. I'm sure that there is some color added to this. Okay. Going in on the nose, honey, very sweet. There's some apple cinnamon. Yeah, a lot of sweet, bit of spice, which you should expect from a whiskey that is selectively finished in American rye cask. There's almost like a slight maple syrup note going on in here too. Yeah, honey, maybe a little bit of orange, that apple. All in all, pretty mellow, pretty nice. Let's give it a taste. Sláinte y'all. Arrives pretty mellow, pretty sweet, but it does develop quite a bit. You get almost like again, that maple syrup. It's really kind of strong. It's almost like pancakes. Honey, maybe a little bit of butterscotch. Then you get the kind of the orange apple thing. Then you get a nice little kick with that rye spice. Goes into about a medium finish. Not bad. I mean, it is not a heavy whiskey. I would say the palate, it's pretty light. It's not very oily. It's not going to coat your mouth. We'll see how it takes some water here. At the bare minimum, 40% ABV, I am not going to put much on here. There's almost a little floral note to this now. Lavender or something. Still that core, it's more like cinnamon ginger is in here now, which again is probably some of this stuff is coming from that rye spice. Sweet fruit notes still there. It smells like a typical Chivas with a bit more complexity. And there's almost like a slight chocolate or earthy note going on in here as well. All right, another taste. The addition of water, the rye spice comes through more, for sure. Not dill, but kind of sharp herbal note, bordering on maybe a little hint of ethanol. Nice kind of malted milk ball, white chocolate finish though. Yeah, digging it. I've been sipping this one for quite a while, and I'm telling you, every time I drink it, I get something a little bit different, which is why it's so much fun to explore this whiskey. Okay. Bottle of this Chivas going to run you around $40 US. Yes, it is 40% ABV. It is a blend, not a single malt. So you're getting some grain in here. I'm actually picking up some of that grain now, that second sip of the water, that grain note. But, you know, it's not necessarily exclusive either in the States. I think this is probably something you can find in most of your mainstream shops. Chivas is a huge brand, and I think this isn't a like very limited release by any stretch. So I would put the value on this kind of in that medium range. I think it's an interesting bottle. It's obviously limited a little bit by its ABV and blend, but hey, it's not bad. It could do a lot worse. Okay, so final thoughts here. I think this is a pretty interesting whiskey. It's a bit more dynamic than what you would necessarily expect from a 40% blended Scotch. I think that is obviously coming from the rye. You know, this isn't a Glenmorangie single malt Speos release, which was, you know, I think a lot more interesting when it came to the rye, but there aren't that many out there. The rye influence, I think, you know, there's a Glenallachie 3 rye wood out, but you don't see these a lot. And so, you know, at around $40, you know, I think this one is, you know, surprisingly interesting. And you do get a bit of that. It's a mellow whiskey. It's pretty good. I can't say much more. If you like Manchester United Football Club, if you just want to try a decent Chivas that's not going to break your budget and give you something a little bit interesting with that rye finish, grab this one. It's more dynamic than you might expect. So my final score on this is going to be a solid 3.25 out of 5, which means I do recommend you grab this at a good price or definitely try it. All right, y'all. So finishing up that review of Chivas Regal, 13 years old, Manchester United edition. Do hit subscribe if you haven't. That'll ensure you don't miss any of my whiskey reviews, which come out every Friday, and notifications for my happy hour on Tuesdays at 8 p.m. Eastern. With that, I will kick you over to your malt musing, and I will see you next time here on Malt Muser Whiskey Reviews. Cheers, y'all.